We've been bringing you the news that former Dolphins head coach Don Shula passed away at the age of 90. CBS 4's Jim Barry continues our team coverage on the loss of a legend. And Jim is joined here in the studio by Nat Moore, longtime Miami Dolphins player and now the Senior Vice President of Special Projects and Alumni Relations for the Fins. Gentlemen, what a sad day it is.
It certainly is. And Nat, thank you for coming in. I know how deeply you cared about Coach Shula. Let me start by having you offer your reflections on what he meant to you personally.
Well, he was like a second father. You know, he's a guy that in 1974, when I was drafted, saw something in me, changed my position, and basically just gave me some guidance on how to be mentally tough as well as physically tough. And throughout my entire 13 years of playing for him, and then throughout my life, he's always been there. He's that kind of guy. You know, the guy that somehow or another got more out of you than you thought you had to give.
And you said that he always practiced what he preached. What do you mean by that?
Well, he was very simple. He was that guy that he didn't ask you to do too many things he wouldn't do. Even when we used to hate running gassers, he would run a couple of them himself. But even more so off the field, he was that guy in the community that was the first to write the check. United Way would come in each and every year, and before anybody wrote a check, he would write a check. I mean, you know, when you look at the legacy of South Florida and the amount of guys that stayed here once their career was over, no matter where they came from, and became intricate parts of this community, it was because of a guy like Don Shula, because of a guy that taught you while you were playing to embrace the community where you made friends, you built relationships, and then you're successful off the field as well as on the field.
Family meant so much to Don Shula. Talk about that, Nat.
Well, I don't think there's anything more important than his family to him. And you know, somehow or another, some way, he still found time for his family. I mean, you know, in the old days, coaches stayed in meetings and at the training camp, you know, 14, 15 hours a day. But during the off season, you could see how much time he spent with Michael and David and Annie and the whole family. You know, they were, you know, weekends when the game was over with. You know, he somehow or another found that balance, that mix to be able to be everything to his family, but also to be the winningest coach in football history because he left no stone unturned trying to find ways to win.
We know he was a stickler for detail as a coach. Beyond that, what made him the best of all time?
Well, I think his ability to adapt, his ability to change with the athlete. You know, when Bob Greasy and Larry Zonka and et cetera were there, we had this big, strong offensive line. We ran the football. We controlled the football. We kept our defense off the field. And we won championships. And then when Dan Marino and Mark Duper, Mark Clayton and those guys came along, we had this high-powered offense where he switched and went to that. And once again, we went through the league as one of the best teams in NFL football. So his ability to adapt, his ability to look at the talent that the team possessed and adapt that philosophy to those guys was critical.
He had a deadpan sense of humor, too. As it turns out, Don Shula and my wife shared the same birthday, and the first time I introduced him to her, after she walked away, he looked at me and he said, you know what, Barry? You outkicked your coverage.
Well, we kid him all the time that twice in his life he outkicked his with both Mary Ann and Dorothy. But, you know, just a great man, you know, a guy that, you know, signified success, dignity, integrity, a guy that basically, if you were willing to put forth effort, he would help you become better at what you thought you could be. It
was very important to him also, Nat, not only to win, but to win the right way within the rules, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was him. He didn't believe in cutting corners. He believed in hard work and dedication. And you know, I remember playing the Patriots up there in the snowplow incident, and I'd never seen a man so livid at the officials. And the officials is like, well, what can we do? We can't get them to come back out and put snow back in. But you know, he's just one of those guys that believes in the rules. You know, as you know, he served on the rules committee for many, many years, and he was a part of not only developing the game and being the winningest coach, but he was also a guy that helped come up with the rules of today's game.
Such a legacy he leaves us all, but so many great memories. And Nat, thank you for coming in and spending time sharing so many of them that you have with the great coach Don Shula. Nat Moore, thank you so much.